What's up, guys? Welcome back to Nerd Media, and today I have a new video for you guys. It's gonna be like my Rocket video that I made a few weeks ago, but it's gonna be on the Guardians and why I think that this trilogy is just perfect and one of the best comic book trilogies, the best Marvel trilogy, and one of my favorite trilogies of all time, and like movies in general. But before I get into it, I just want to share a few things with you guys. First off, as I'm recording this, yesterday was the 1 year anniversary of the YouTube channel, and again, I can't thank you guys enough, but go check out my video of me basically just talking about it, thanking you guys for everything, and yeah, just go check that video out. And I have like some updates about this upcoming week too, since I have like finals and stuff coming up this upcoming week for school. I know there's supposed to be like a Ninja Turtles trailer or something dropping. I'm not gonna be able to record a reaction for that. I'm gonna still have a video coming out each day, and I'm trying to figure out if I'm gonna be able to even go see Across the Spider Verse this week because I'm going to Philadelphia, and I also have something planned for Friday night. So I'm not sure if I'll be able to see Across the Spider Verse this week, but if I don't, then it'll be early the following week, but really early, and I'll be able to see it then. And then I'll have a review out for you guys. But I'll make a video talking about that when everything's 100% confirmed. Because as of now, I'm still gonna see it this upcoming week, but I'm not sure. Really hoping that I do, but I just have to figure it out. But yeah, this video will just be another like kind of essay sort of video about why I think the Guardians trilogy is perfect, and yeah, and also be on the lookout for my Philadelphia Comic Con vlog coming out a week from today as I'm recording this. So it'll be out on Sunday, the 4th of June. So yeah, stay tuned for that, and let's get into the video. The Guardians of the Galaxy, man, this trilogy is just one of the greatest things I've ever seen. And this trilogy not only means the world to me personally, but it's just a beautiful piece of cinema and the best trilogy in the MCU, in my opinion. And the thing that makes it so special is just everything about it: the actors, James Gunn, the brilliant director, the story in each movie, the humor, just everything is just perfect and always has a meaning to it. Like, one of my flaws with Volume 2 was that Drax was too kind of like goofy. But even now, after seeing Volume 3, you understand why, because he's basically a father, not a destroyer. But the thing that makes it so special is the Guardians just basically start out on their own. Each one of them start out on their own in the Marvel universe, but as they all meet each other, they grow and become a found family because they're all the only friends that they've ever had, basically, and they just what they're a family. They're more than friends. They're just a family, basically. And I think that the Guardians are the best team in the MCU. And yeah, I would definitely put it above the Avengers. I only say this because throughout the three films, plus Infinity War and Endgame, we see them as people and people we can relate to, which is kind of shocking because you have a talking tree and a raccoon and a bunch of different people, and they're the only real human there is probably Quill. But you can just anybody can relate to them depending on your experience throughout your life, and you can just relate to each one of them in some sort of way, like, because none of them are perfect at all, because they all basically start out as criminals or assassins, and because none of them have like, and also none of them have super suits. They aren't gods like Thor. They're not like, they don't have any special abilities like Captain America. They're literally basically all just people on the inside. And the trilogy of the Guardians is just a true masterpiece to me because of the heart, and at the center it's just amazing characters and seeing how they act on the inside and how they act like people that you can relate to. And one example of an amazing character in this trilogy is Nebula, because I think that Nebula, in my opinion, has one of the best character developments in the MCU, if not the best, which is insane to me, because she goes from being a full blown villain in Volume 1, just like not caring about anything, to expressing herself more in Volume 2, caring more in Infinity War, and fighting for Gamora, and completely changing in Endgame because of how much she's lost. And then seeing her like almost in a completely different light in like Thor: Love and Thunder, the holiday special, and especially Volume 3, because I think that she's personally my favorite character in Volume 3. And just, yeah, I think that she's had one of the biggest character developments in the MCU, and I don't know how any other character can top that. I feel like the only other character that could possibly top that could maybe be Spider-Man, because he's already had a crazy character development. But this video isn't about Spider-Man. I just think that Nebula has such an insane character development, and she's one of the key one of the main examples that shows how perfect this trilogy is and how it deals with its characters, how it shows off its characters, and makes sense for their characters to change throughout the movies. And she's been in, I don't know, 7 movies maybe, because you have Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3, Infinity War, Endgame, Love and Thunder. Yeah, so she's been in like 8 Marvel projects, and the amount that she's changed from then has been crazy. And she was honestly my favorite character of Volume 3. And after this movie, after watching Volume 3 and really sitting down and looking at all this stuff, she really is one of the best characters in the MCU, in my opinion. And probably my top three characters for the Guardians team, and probably top five MCU characters. And two other key examples of just characters that have some great character development in these films are definitely Yondu and Kraglin, because those are like the two, or you could just say the Ravagers themselves. But I feel like Yondu and Kraglin are like the main prominent Ravagers that we see in each movie. But I do think that like all of them have had character developments and become like better people. Just those two have like really changed. Like you see Yondu change a lot from Volume One to really understanding him in Volume Two and understanding how much he cares for Peter and the Guardians, and how him and Rocket kind of get the bond in the whole movie, which not only reveals more about Rocket and us understanding him more, but it makes us understand more about Yondu as well, which is very like setting up for his death in the second movie. And Kraglin is just no different, except that we see him longer in the movies, and he just gets more of a bigger role as the movies progress, and that just kind of fleshes out his character more. Because he was originally a follower, but I think by the end of Volume 3, he sort of becomes a leader, or doesn't feel like a follower anymore, which I think is great for his character, and he had a perfect ending, just like all the other Guardians. But I think the biggest example of character development for these films, and just why these movies are so great, is definitely Rocket, especially after Volume 3. Like, not like the reason why this just why I'm talking about this and making it seem like it's just like perfect, like this just solidifies the fact that it's a perfect trilogy, is because these characters just basically show like how like to develop a character, and just like I feel like, to me personally, Nebula, Kraglin, Yondu, and Rocket are probably the most human and most like understandable out of all the other Guardians, which is why I'm talking about them the most, because they all just are kind of, they've been through a lot, so it just makes more sense to talk about them. But I think Rocket's development is just great because he goes from being selfish and a jerk in Volume 1, and kind of developing a little bit more in Volume 2. He's kind of more of a jerk in that movie, and then he has a huge development, just like Nebula after Infinity War, when he loses his only family that he ever had, and then he kind of changes completely after that, and he becomes kind of like a very selfless, caring, and accepting person of his family and everything by the end of Volume 3, because in Volume 3 he puts his past behind him, and he understands that he'll see his friends again, hopefully, when he eventually dies. He understands that he's gonna see his friends again, but just not at that moment. And he accepts the people that he has with him now and what he has to do, becoming the leader of the Guardians, which I think is one of the perfect of all the Guardians endings. I think his was the most fitting, and yeah, these characters are just great. Now, there are many reasons why I chose to wait till after Volume 3 to make this video. Not only because it would kind of make no sense to make this with it not being a complete trilogy yet, but it's just like everything that we saw in Volume 3 just solidifies the fact that this is just a perfect trilogy, because this trilogy had a very, very fitting and very satisfying and very perfect ending to all these characters. And I'm just going to talk about some of them real quickly. So if you haven't seen the movie, obviously I put a spoiler warning at the beginning of the video, but you should probably click off by now, because I've spoiled some of the movie already, but you should probably click off because there's going to be some footage and I'm just going to be discussing some of the endings. But before we get into that, just I just want to appreciate this so much, because this trilogy is just so amazing. And once I start talking about the endings, it's going to be the ending of the video. So yeah, just this trilogy is just amazing. And Volume 3 only solidifies that, like with every character. And it finds closure for every character and everything, like with Peter and Gamora's relationship specifically. Like they're one of the best couples, I think, in the MCU, And I think just the way that James Gunn handled that in Volume 3 was amazing. And their little talk at the end of the movie before Gamora went off to her Ravager family was perfect. And I feel like from that talk to the end of the movie is just perfect. And I just love the last 15 minutes of the movie. And I think the last 15 minutes of the movie is some of the best of the Guardians, if not the best that we've ever seen. And yeah, I'll be talking about those 15 minutes right now because it's just basically all their endings. So yeah. So as you can see, I think the ending to each character is just awesome in this movie. Like obviously you see Rocket like getting inner peace and freedom, and Mantis is going off on her own because she has been like following orders from people her whole life, basically, which I think is great. And I hope that we get to see what she does. And then you see Drax finally. You finally understand why he's like such like a goofball in like all the movies after Volume 1, because he's not meant to be a destroyer. His purpose is to be a dad, which is perfect because they have so many kids to take care of. And then you see Gamora going with her new family that we finally accept that she's with, and seeing her happy with them, and sort of having a closure with Peter too before they go off. And then you have like Nebula, having to take care of all the kids on Nowhere, which I think just makes total sense. You don't really get closure for characters like Groot or Kraglin, but you don't really need to because you understand where they're going and where they're heading. They're staying with these characters, and Cosmo obviously just he's there or she's there, but just they don't really need a closure because we just got introduced to them as a main character. And same with Adam Warlock. And then you see Peter having to go back to Earth, finally accepting that he should probably venture out and try more things and try to meet more people and see if his grandfather's still alive, which he is. And I think that this is a great conclusion from him being scared to go back to Earth in Volume 1 to actually going back in this movie. And I think that that's just amazing and great. And I think that we did see Peter's grandfather in Volume 2, but I'll get into that in a different video. But yeah, just the ending to these characters is just phenomenal, and it's just such a great ending, and it really feels like an ending, like we're not going to see them again, and I hope we don't see them again because I'd be worried about what Marvel's going to do with them without James Gunn. But just this trilogy is just so perfect to me. The endings are amazing. I literally had no words walking out of the theater for how perfect these endings were, and just everything about it is just great, and I'm so grateful for this trilogy and everything about it because everything was just perfect. And I know I think that the last 15 minutes, like I'm showing you now, is definitely like some of my favorite pieces of Marvel in the MCU. And probably my second or third favorite scene in the Guardians trilogy. But I already know that I'm gonna miss them so much, but I'm definitely gonna be rewatching Guardian all three of the movies plus the holiday special as soon as Volume 3 comes out on Disney Plus. But this is just a perfect trilogy and perfect ending and perfect characters, and everything about this was perfect, and it's some of Marvel's best yet. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you want more like this in the future because this is my second video that I've done like this, and so far both of them have been on Guardians. Right now, as I'm saying this, I think I'm gonna make one on Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse. And again, I don't know when I'm going to see that movie, probably within the next week. So I'll definitely have a video like this out in the next like months about Across the Spider-Verse. So stay tuned for that. And thank you guys so much again for 1 year of Nerd Media. And it's just been a crazy ride. Stay tuned for my Comic-Con vlog next Sunday because I'm super excited to go to that. And just, it's going to be a lot of fun. I think you guys are going to really like the video. So yeah, stay tuned for more.